of you wonder what Bazm-e-Sukhan means. So I would like to let you know, Bazm-e-Sukhan means a group of people working together for better communication. Bazm-e-Sukhan is a non-profit voluntarily organization serving the community since 1984. We are committed to building strong and healthy communities and promoting unity, cooperation and harmony among different communities through communication. And of course, we are committed to promote artists such as poets, singers, actors in Urdu, Hindi, Punjabi, Gujarati and other languages. Over the years, scholars, poets, singers and other artists from Asia, North America and Europe has participated in literary and cultural gatherings organized by Bazm-e-Sukhan. Now we started a multilingual library which has books in Urdu, Hindi, Arabic and Punjabi, and we will be teaching these languages. We have videos in these languages and computer software also. We are doing interpretation services. We are providing translation services for different government departments. Since its start, Bazm-e-Sukhan has come long way. People who shared a deep bond with Urdu language basically started this association. But because of the growing interest of the South Asian communities in Edmonton, Bazm-e-Sukhan took under its wings the duty to promote Urdu, Hindi, Arabic, Punjabi, Gujarati and other languages also. In tonight's concerts, we have a very talented and unique young artist, Kiran Ahlowalia, with her group, and she has her group too. She will be singing Urdu ghazals and also Punjabi folk songs. So this is very unique. Usually we have only ghazal singers, they sing ghazals, or if Punjabi folk songs, those singers only sing Punjabi folk songs, but she will be singing a combination of songs. So Bazm-e-Sukhan honored sponsoring her, and we are very lucky to have her with us tonight. Now I would like to request Hassan Nazar Ali to introduce Kiran Ahlowalia.
Gentlemen, as you all know, we are gathered here tonight in order to listen to sweet melodies to be rendered by our tonight's artist, Kiran Ahlowalia. Before we commence tonight's musical concert, it would be but fair if I did introduce to you our tonight's artist. First of all, Kiran will be accompanied by Tabla Nawaz Narendra Budakar, and Kiran Thakrar will be on harmonium, and Joy Ananda Sivam will be on guitar. They will be introduced to you later on by Kiran herself during the course of her performance. Kiran Ahlowalia was born in India to Punjabi parents. The family moved to Canada in the 70s, where Kiran grew up in Toronto. At that time, singers touring from India would perform in living rooms, and concerts were promoted by word of mouth. These concerts were not primarily for children. They featured a repertoire that was beyond the experience of a child. Kiran was, however, entranced by the sound and feel of the music. Having studied Indian music on a part-time basis throughout high school and university, in 1990 she quit her job and went to India to immerse herself in the rigorous life of a full-time music student. After receiving her training in classical music in Bombay, she traveled to Hyderabad. Here she found Vittal Rao, one of the last living court musicians of the Nizam of Hyderabad. A man of legendary vocal ability and kindness, he is a living link to the centuries-old ghazal tradition, Vittal Rao took on Kiran as his student. Taking advantage of an extended period of study in India, Kiran decided it was time to learn firsthand the folk songs of our ancestral region, that is Punjab. Traveling to small villages, Kiran immersed herself in the daily life and celebrations. She spent time with a number of traditional singers, absorbing their style and approach. Between her studies in India, Kiran has worked on radio journalism, record label management, and acquired an MBA. She has also scored music for dance and film. In her first recording, Kashish, which means attraction, Kiran has found the musicians in Toronto, London, and New York to realize her vision. Incidentally, this album will be on sale tonight during intermission. Ladies and gentlemen, Kiran Ahlowalia is now ready to share with you all one of the great vocal traditions of the world's culture. Please give a warm welcome to Kiran Ahlowalia and her group.
concert. Thank you for having me. As I looked around, I saw many faces that I think it's safe to assume they know what ghazals are all about. But I also saw a few faces when the lights were up that I think it was safe to assume that they may not know what ghazals are about. So for those few for whom this is an introduction to the ghazal genre, ghazals are romantic songs from what is now India and Pakistan, and they're songs of passion. And the first ghazal that we did for you is called Vada, means promise. And this is a ghazal in which a girl is teasing her lover about forgotten promises. And she was teasing him and saying that you always forget to keep your promises to me. And she says that she's gone to many places of worship and she's asked God for one wish. She's asked God to grant her the love of the one that she wants. But just like her lover, God also forgets to keep his promises. So she's not quite sure what to do. And that was our first song. Our next ghazal is called, well, we call it Yaar Ki. The words are, Yaar ki koi khabar lata nahi, dam labon par hai, nikal jata nahi. This is a ghazal that many of you may know, is written by the last emperor of India, Bahadur Shah Zafar. And it's said that he wrote this ghazal once he was captured by the British Army, when the British came and took over India, and he wrote it in about the 1860s. So just imagine him in captivity, away from his land. He's lost his nation. And what he's saying in this ghazal is that he's mentally prepared to take his last breath, but it's sort of stuck at the bottom of his throat. He's unable to let it go because he's waiting for someone to bring him news of his loved one. And in this case, his loved one, his yar, is his land, India. So this is Yaar Ki for you.
क्या बात, वाह। क्या बात,
कौन सी मंजिल Ghazals are a genre that are said to have originated in Persia and traveled to what is now India and Pakistan in the 14th century. They went to India in the 14th century. And here I am. I came to Canada in the 1970s with my parents and brought this genre with me because I've been studying it since I was a small child. And about a year ago, something very exciting happened. I started to discover other Canadian, South Asian people, writers, who are writing ghazals right here in Canada, ghazal poets in Canada. So this was very exciting for me because it gave me a lovely opportunity to compose the music for Canadian ghazals and hopefully create a body of a unique Canadian repertoire of ghazals. And I find it very exciting that they're evolving this way from Persia to India to now Canada. So our next ghazal, it's written by a Toronto-based Pakistani-Canadian writer. Her name is Tahira Masood. And this ghazal, she's talking about the extent to which she's obsessed with her lover. वो कुछ ऐसे मन में समाये हुए हैं और ऐसे ख्यालों में छाए हुए हैं. These are the words. And in the body of the ghazal, she's saying that she's obsessed with him to such an extent that she's heard that he's not getting along with the company that he's been keeping. So this has raised her hopes that maybe there's hope for her to sneak into his company. We call this wo kuch. छाए हुए वो जैसे मन में समाए हुए ऐसे ख्यालों पे छाए हुए वो ऐसे ख्यालों पे छाए हुए वो ऐसे ख्यालों पे छाए हुए and the words, the composition is very new. It's a melody that I composed about a year ago. And the words are very simple. If you don't understand Punjabi, don't worry. They're very simple words. Ik ranjha mainu lorida. And that's actually the beauty of this song, the beauty of the lyrics for me, is the simplicity of these words. Ik ranjha mainu lorida. They simply are saying, I am in need of my lover Ranjha. So simple. So simple that I often think about it as perhaps a modern day personals ad. Next time I'll come to Edmonton, I'll be flipping through C magazine and I'll see Kiran Ahlowalia right there in the magazine. It's a song about the legendary folkloric romance of a man named Ranjha and a woman named Heer. And in this song, Heer, the lady, is searching for her Ranjha and asking for others to accompany her in her journey to find him. next ghazal is a ghazal written by a Hyderabadi poet, Shah Stamkanat, and the tune is the melody is of my Guruji's melody, my teacher's melody, Vittal Rao, who also lives in Hyderabad. And this ghazal has a very lovely imagery in it. इसके बोल हैं, कोई तन्हाई का एहसास दिलाता है मुझे, कोई तन्हाई का एहसास दिलाता है मुझे, मैं बहुत दूर हूँ, नज़दीक बुलाता है मुझे. वाह. किसी फ़ोन कंपनी के लिए अच्छी एडवर्टाइजमेंट. Should apologize. I'm going to translate next. Never know whether to translate first or to share the words first. This ghazal is about a poet or a person who is missing his loved one, and he's feeling restless without her, and he's very lonely without her, and he's almost having delusions without her, and he's saying that. And imagine the heat of India. It's 1,000,000 degrees in India. It's so hot. And shade itself is such a soothing notion. And he's talking about shade here. He's saying that he's attracted to areas of shade because he thinks that it might be the shadow caused by his lover's long, luscious hair. So he's saying he's missing his lover. And I was commenting that it would make a very good ad for a long-distance phone company. So. And this song is from the villages of Punjab. For those of you who aren't familiar, Punjab is a large region in the north of India and the southern part of Pakistan. And this song is called Rut Savandi. It's interesting because we toured last year. We did a 1-month tour in July of all the folk festivals and a couple of concerts like this in soft cedar venues, which we love because the sound is beautiful here. And last year was our first time touring with the band, and Rut Savandi was known as track number 7. And this year we're pleased to know that we've been going to some folk festivals and people actually are saying Rut Savandi, please sing Rut Savandi. So that was supposed to be a little humor while we were tuning, but it didn't quite work. But I'm not a comedian, so it's okay. This song is about a girl who's talking about the beautiful seasons, and she's saying that the cool wind is coming and playing with her and bothering her, and she's asking her lover to hold her in his warm embrace to protect her from the cool winds. Rut Savandi. And after this we'll have a short intermission, or a long one, as you wish. चुकी मिठे इश्क दे बोल रुत संबंधी चुन बदलाने मुड़ मुड़ के नहीं आने आका वेस धरती उत्ते ढेरी सदन लाने लाने आ चुकी मिठे इश्क दे बोल वे माया आ चुकी मिठे इश्क दे बोल मिठे इश्क दे बोल मिठे इश्क दे बोल And when I first heard that we were being presented by a society called Bazm-e-Sukhan, I thought, oh my God, that's a very literary name. I better present some literary ghazals. So this next ghazal is to fulfill that wish for you. It's a ghazal by a famous Pakistani writer, Faiz. He was a lovely writer. And the words are Nagawao naw ke neem kash dile reza reza gawa diya jo bacche hain sang samet lo tane daag daag luta diya. Very difficult for many people to understand, including me when I first heard the words, but I had the luxury of studying this, so for those of you who are new to this ghazal, this is a ghazal in which Faz, the poet, is saying that he's talking about his enemies, and he's saying, those arrows that you have pointed towards me, don't waste them, just put them aside. And those stones that you have that you're waiting to throw at me, jo bache hain sang samet lo. Those stones that you have that you're waiting to throw at me, you can save them as well. Don't waste them, because today I've returned my debt to you because I have been wasted. I have lost my heart to someone. So this is a day for his enemies to rejoice, because he is so hopelessly in love. Sometimes I explain them in a way and I think, oh, that does sound funny. I didn't mean for it to be funny, but but it is. I guess a passionate way of looking at love.